Welcome, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Your Business Accelerated. I am your host, attorney Sean B. Arnold. And let me tell you first a little bit about what we're doing here on Your Business Accelerated. An awful lot of you have been with me for about a year and a half, and this has been an audio podcast. But as you know, I have been just relentless in telling you to stay abreast of what is happening in the marketplace. So that is what we are doing here at Your Business Accelerated. We have gone video. And in honor of going video, we've changed our format a little bit. We are now bringing to you some very exciting guests on a weekly basis who are going to help you build your business. And all of this coincides with the launch of the 2014 KickStarter Business Mastery Circle. And this is your Business Mastery Circle, your mastermind group. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the 2014 Entrepreneur KickStarter Business Mastery Circle later in the show. But right now, I want to bring someone very, very special to you who is going to help you figure out how to juggle it all, how to sort it all out, and how to get it all done. We're talking today to Liz Brazier. Now, Liz has spent 20-plus years in corporate IT sales before she started her own business. She is now an internationally based accountability coach and productivity strategist. She's also a writer and host of Live Your Life Now podcast. Now, when Liz is not on the air, she's helping her clients create amazing businesses and lifestyles that they absolutely deserve, as she lives between two countries, New Zealand and the United States. She calls them both home. That's very exciting. We're going to talk to her a little bit more about that. And Liz has dedicated her work to helping entrepreneurs find more freedom, flexibility, and control in their busy lives and in their businesses. How does she do this? By giving entrepreneurs just like you inspiration and, perhaps more importantly, tools and resources so that you can take action right now and get the right stuff done right now in your life and in your business, instead of waiting for a magical someday. Liz Brazier, welcome.
Sure,
welcome
wow.
to Your Business Accelerated.
It's great to be on. Thank you.
I am very excited that you are here. So, Liz, let's start, first of all, by just finding out a little bit more about you. I would love to find out what some of the turning points have been along the way in your journey that led you first to IT sales, and then that made you make a really sharp turn into productivity and accountability. I think that's going to be an exciting story.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Well, there's always a lot of significant moments in people's lives, but the big thing was when I was 30 and moving to America with a computer company. That was a big event. So I was doing the corporate computer IT thing, and I just fell into that industry. I was in I was out of university, and that was kind of the first company that I got a job, and just happened to be a computer company. It could have been another industry. But what was great about computer companies was things were always changing. There was always just the opportunity for constant change and constant growth. But when I was 30, I moved to the US, which was about 14 years ago. So that was a great turning point for just that opportunity to move from New Zealand and move to the New York area. So that was a big change in lifestyle and opportunities.
That's wonderful. And what is it that took you then from IT sales and living in New York? I believe you're not in New York at this time, right? You're still on the East Coast, though.
Yes,
so,
you're right.
So tell me a little bit more about your journey. I'm just
yeah, sure. No, there's always more, but that's right. Now I'm living on the Jersey Shore, just over an hour or so from New York. I did live in Manhattan for a number of years, and also lived in Jersey City across the river. So I've lived around this area. And that was all part of me starting to figure out that I wanted to downsize my life a little bit and put some money behind me as I was making that big decision to leave corporate or to take that big leap of faith and to do something entrepreneurial. And like a lot of people, there's normally a big sort of event that might happen, and for me, I had a quite significant health scare, and when I was 39, that had problems with arthritis and problems walking. So that was kind of my catalyst to think, what am I doing with my life? I wanted to create some freedom and flexibility with the ability to live in New Zealand and the US as my parents were getting older and who still live in New Zealand. And I was still tied to that corporate job, which even though I was in sales, it gives you some flexibility. It didn't give you quite the flexibility to live anywhere in the world. But getting ill at 39 was a big catalyst, or a big moment for me, that made me realize that life really is too short.
Wow, so you are basically finding yourself in a position where you are living your truth. You had to be accountable to your dream to actually make that shift from corporate America into your own enterprise. So let's talk about how that then becomes a passion for you to help entrepreneurs in their journey, helping them make that same kind of leap and to be accountable to themselves and their business partners and their spouses, their life in general, even if they're single.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a big leap and a big change, but it gets to a point where, for me personally, I couldn't keep pretending that I was happy in what I was doing. So I needed to figure out a plan of how I could make that change. And then I'm all about living your life now. That's the name of the podcast show. So you have to be true to who you are. Like, people can smell if you're not living your life now, then you can't really be that brand. So that was important to me, that I took that leap of faith. And I personally thought I had to kind of like break the cord. I call it the umbilical cord from the corporate world after doing it for 23 years, and just be completely free of it and just try something new. And for me, it's being accountable is so important. Like, I love goal setting, Sean, and writing down goals like we all do, but that's accountability that takes it to the next level.
So let's talk about that then. What does the experience of working with Liz Brazier look like? What can I expect? As I was telling some folks who tuned in a little early, that I don't even want to tell them about that pile of documents that's sitting behind the camera over there. Accountability is a really tough issue for a lot of people. The pile can get higher and higher, and you feel as though, because you're doing busy work every day, or you feel that you're getting out of bed and you're spinning your wheels, that you're actually making something happen. So what does that experience of working with you look like, so that some transformation can come out the other end?
Yeah, no, great question. It's really all tied to productivity as a key part of it. But what we look at is really what works for you, because everyone's unique. So I do like a 2-hour productivity audit. We were on the phone for 2 hours, really figuring out what your structure and schedule's like, what challenges you have, what goals or milestones you have over the next month and next quarter, really trying to figure out what the right structure and schedule is for you. And I also want to get to know you and understand, are you someone that loves a lot of different tools and apps? Some people do. They love their smartphones. They're into the latest productivity apps. Other people don't even talk about it, Liz. They don't even know about it. So, I need to figure that out and understand. But what I find is, generally, like you mentioned, Sean, so wise, busy work. People are working really hard, but a lot of times they're on the right things. That's busy work, and it's distractions. It's figuring out some structure where you're not always in your email. You're not always in those Facebook groups. You're taking some time to shut things down and stay focused. And I like to talk to people, stay focused on one thing at a time. The whole days of multitasking, done. Multitasking doesn't work. It's all about single focus monotasking.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. I heard a stat recently that said multitasking has the same effect on your brain as smoking a pound of pot.
That's a good one. I may have to quote you on that one.
and I have to say that it's absolutely true. I employ certain strategies in the morning. For example, I do not check my emails first thing in the morning, because I find that what people do is contact me at about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning with their emergency. That is usually a result of their failure to plan. And what they want is for that to now be my emergency. And when I went to bed last night, I had a conversation with self. and made an agenda of the things that I wanted to get done today. And if the first thing I do is check my email, all of that flies right out the window. So what do you do, Liz? What are some of your favorite things to keep you on task and to keep you actually accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish on a daily basis?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of batching or time blocking. So I'll have certain times, like 2-hour blocks, where it's focused on a particular thing I'm working on. And I kind of break it into categories, Sean. So I have something called my admin, so that in the time block, and that's kind of to keep the business running. I'll have something called outreach, which is a bit like cold calling or client. It's either client one-on-one work or me, looking for new clients or being on an interview. I kind of call that part of my outreach plan. And then another plan is called content, whether I'm creating videos or my podcast show or a video. So I kind of have time blocked throughout my week, and that's what I'm focused on. I do not have email open all the time. I'm in there. I set a timer for 25 minutes. I love Focus at Will. It's my most favorite thing. And Focus at Will is music in your ears that helps keep your brain focused, like the Olympic system, so your brain doesn't get distracted. And I just set the timer, and that's I'm on email, then I'm out of email. And it goes the same. I have plans when I'm in the Facebook groups or any social media, and when I'm not. I'm very strict on that because it's such a time sink.
That was going to be my next question, is how, see, I'm transaction counsel. Okay. I teach business law. I am a business coach and strategist. I run mastermind groups. I practice law. I'm drafting documents all the time. And I find it very, very difficult to stick to those time blocks. I absolutely agree with you that it's a really, really good idea. But sometimes I have a deadline. I have to hit it. I've got to get that document out, and it bleeds over. There's some website work that I've been trying to do for weeks, for example. First of all, it's completely out of my lane, so I should be spanked and ashamed.
Yes. Yeah,
so that's part of the accountability, right? Is delegating when I'm supposed to be delegating, and not just wearing every hat and just stacking the hats on top of each other, and eventually looking ridiculous and weighing out my neck.
Totally. Yeah.
So help me.
Yeah. No, you. I mean, it definitely comes down to priorities, and of course, there's times when priorities get thrown on you, and you didn't see them coming. But it's definitely. I'm a big believer that people have got to stay focused. What is the one priority for right now and then? And that's what you're focused on working on. And I think the timer is a real key to helping you. Whether it's that you think it's going to take an hour and a half on that particular project, and set the timer and work to that time. But it's getting that clear, like what is the one main thing that's going to make the difference to move my business forward today, or what are the top 3 things? But I find the more structure that you have in your calendar, I think the more freedom you have for these kind of crises. Because if you know you've got some structure, and you know, okay, well, this has happened today, but I've got some, I've got structure later in the week. I think you do get to it. So a structure actually equals freedom or more flexibility.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a big structure girl. So tell me, do you prefer a calendar on the wall, or are you a smartphoner? I hated my smartphone when I first got it. I called it my stupid smartphone. Yeah. But let me tell you, I have discovered Camcard and Notepad and a lot of resources that really help me reach out. See, because I get very shy of strangers, so it's hard for me to make prospect calls. It's really, really difficult. I have to pump myself up. And to get myself on that telephone. So I need those resources that are going to make it easier for me to do so. There's even an app I have on my phone that I schedule calls, and it will actually ring up. Do you want me to dial now? And all I have to do is hit one button, and it will call that person for me. So I don't have to make the decision to, okay, let me go get my list of people to call. Let me pump myself up. Yes, they want what you have. Yes, like give yourself the value talk and all of that nonsense.
Yeah, that's being accountable.
Yes. Yeah. So what are some of your favorite tools for handling these head sink situations?
I know. Well, the mind is a very powerful thing. You've already got on to something very important there. And the first thing is just telling your mind, I just tell my mind thanks for sharing when it wants to take me down a bit of a rat hole of negativity, which it does to everyone. So I just say thanks for sharing, because I find if we talk back to it, it just gets louder. So I just say to my clients, it's very simple, just say thanks for sharing and then just change the topic, or I can do
Wow.
this, will come up. I mean, it's very simple, but if we overcomplicate our mind or overtalk to it, we just won't get things done. That's for sure.
Wow.
So I am an
Wow.
online calendar girl. You asked at the beginning, Sean. I do love. I'm a Google Calendar, but I also do print off um, a calendar that I have up on the wall, and just 2 hour time blocks where I just have it, whether it's content, admin, or outreach. So I do have some structure each day, and and I will move that around. But I do like that because it is great for me. I know, okay, my content's finished now. Now it's time to work on something else, and I just bring out my to-do list for my outreach, and that's what I'm working on. I found if I had too many things on a to-do list, even trying to get the top three out of it, it was too much going on. So that's what works really well for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I think that that is the nature of that pile that's sitting over
yeah,
there. Is that
yeah.
it's a series of to-do lists. And
I-
I think that what I need to do is, I think that's excellent advice, Liz. Break out the top three
mm,
on a daily basis, because and it's not even the top three that are necessarily bothering you the most. It's the top three that are going to move your business forward.
oh, you
And
got
then
it.
if you want to add two more that are annoying you, I think that's pretty good too.
Yeah,
But
or
at
you can
least you've gotten
plan.
5 things done that day, right?
Yeah, well, you know that there's also what I like to talk to people a lot about is energy management. We're all about time management, like how to get more time back in the day. And we could talk about how many hours there are in the week because that's always an interesting subject. But it's also really important to get connected with when's most energy for particular tasks. So you may be more of a morning person, Sean, or may have a stronger, more powerful voice in mid morning, and that could be the
Mm-hmm.
time for you to make those client calls that you were talking about, or you may
Ah,
be
that's
more
excellent.
energized, in the afternoon. So figuring out your energy, and maybe that's the time to do something that might be a little bit more difficult, or you need to bring a bit more creativity to. And when you're a bit sort of not as much energy, that could be the time to be on a Facebook group or just clearing some email. And I find for me, I'm more of a morning person. And the afternoon is a good time for me to hang out on some Facebook groups, for half an hour or so. So figure
Right.
out
That's
energy
excellent.
management. Yeah. And then
That's
around
great. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, go ahead.
And then around time management, it's really interesting when I talk to people, my clients, that I tell them there's 168 hours in a week. And then most of us don't know that, not because we don't have the brains to understand that, but we all know there's 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week, etc. But we've never thought about breaking it down to how many hours in a week. Now, with 168 hours, you take off 56 hours for sleep. I'm hoping everyone gets 8 hours sleep. I know it might be a bit of a pipe dream, but take 56 hours off for sleep. And I say 50 hours for work. Would love it to be less, but I'm being pretty realistic. But that leaves over 60 hours to get things done in your week, and that's things outside of work and sleep. So it's kind of amazing when you look at it that way. So it's all to me
I'm
priority.
just embarrassed now, thinking 60 hours? I'm
I know.
blowing 60 hours? Oh, good grief.
And a lot of it's in the weekend and downtime, and of course there's chores and grocery shopping and exercise and or whatever you want to be doing. But I sort of like I want to get rid of that time management. Sort of, there's not enough time. It's all about priorities. So that's why I love sort of talking to clients through that kind of methodology of how many hours and how do you really spend your time and really get clear on that. And of course, if you're spending lots of hours on TV, I'm not going to be that nice to you. Not that there's nothing wrong with watching TV, but if you have some other goals that you want to achieve, then it's either what's more important, 4 hours a night of TV or these other goals as an entrepreneur or whatever your goals are.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My television has not been plugged in for about 2 years.
Oh, that's
When
awesome.
I moved, I just, first of all, I got sick of paying a cable bill,
Yeah,
$100 a month for stuff I didn't want to watch anyway. That
yeah,
I've
yeah.
and it just was a perfect breaking point. It was a perfect opportunity, and I found that I do get a lot more done because I'm not thinking of those evening hours as relaxation hours. Now, when I did have a job, one of the things that I would do to be accountable is when I came home from work, I would change my clothes. There would be an interim outfit between my work clothes and my jammies. And that was my entrepreneur uniform. And while I had those clothes on, I'm still working. My day's not over. And when I change out of those clothes into my jammies, now we're done.
I love that. That's so great. I just had a podcast episode on the Live Your Life Now show this week, is a lady who helps people with their wardrobe, and she's all about, if you want to be more successful, dress for it. Like if you want to feel more confident, it's amazing. And but what you did there was great. You made that like, this is me. I'm an entrepreneur. It's like that book was that Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield. You were sitting down, and I'm turning pro. I'm an entrepreneur right now. This is my entrepreneurial outfit. So, well, top of the class, Sean.
Well, thank you. That's fabulous. Liz, I so thank you for being my guest on Your Business Accelerated this week. Can you please tell everybody how they can get in touch with you?
You bet. So they can get in touch with me via lizbrazier.com, or if that's a little bit difficult to spell, liveyourlifenowshow.com. So liveyourlifenowshow.com, and that routes to lizbrazier.com. I have a 3-part productivity jumpstart blueprint to get you, jump started, and that's available free if you come over to that site. So yeah, fantastic.
Oh, that's
Get the right things done is my final tip.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, what I'd love for you to do is just hold tight for just a minute. I would love to share with you and to share with the folks who are watching a little bit more information about the 2014 Entrepreneur KickStarter Business Mastery Circle. I told you at the top of the show that I was going to give you more information, and I really want to keep my promise to you. I want to tell you about your mastermind. Now, this group is designed, this is a community that is designed to support you as an entrepreneur and to support you getting into entrepreneurship if what you're doing is making that transition. So the very first thing that we are going to do is you are going to work directly with me. We are going to have a laser coaching session on your business. And in that session, we are going to look at all the moving parts of your business. We are going to identify your lowest hanging fruit, and we're going to orient you towards that fruit. And we are going to spend 6 weeks working together, getting you towards that fruit to get you into revenue mode in 2014. That is our goal. We're going to get you into revenue mode. We're going to get you strong. We're going to get you confident. We're going to get you starting, building, or fixing that business that you are absolutely going to love. So how are we going to do that? Well, take a look. What I want you to do is open up a second tab on your computer and jump over to www.kickyourbosstothecurbtoday.com. I'll say that one more time. www.kickyourbosstothecurbtoday.com, and take a look at the information page that we have there for you. Now, what this is an opportunity, again, for us to work together and get that laser coaching session on your business. And then I am going to take you through a series of classes. We're going to start with how to tell your story. Now, many of you know that I've been working with Les Brown, the master motivational speaker, for about 5 years. We do workshops together. I am going to bring that expertise directly to you. We're going to show you how to tell your story, the entire arc of your story, and then I'm going to show you how to break it apart and how to make it directly relevant to the people who you are talking to, so that they have to do what you say. So they will do business with you. Then we are going to go into the branding of your business, of your message, your products, your service, yourself, and your tribe. We're going to look at all of these groups, and we're going to help you really laser focus on each of these aspects of your business so that you are telling one message to a very clear marketplace. Then we're going to show you how to create product. I'm going to show you free and low cost ways to create CDs, DVDs, all the products that I've been creating while I've been under the tutelage of Les Brown. I'm going to show you how to do that too. And then we're going to take you through a book elicitation process that is going to get your entire book project out in just 1 hour. 1 hour, your entire project. It's extremely dynamic, and my groups love it. So you are going to get all of this plus some really, really, really wonderful bonuses. You know, I have pre-recorded a 7-series webinar that represents all of the questions, well, most of the questions that people have asked me about business over the last 20 years. I have been a business consultant for 30 years, and I have been a business attorney for 20 of those 30 years. Trust me, I have seen every train wreck in business, and I know how to keep you from being the next one. So go to www.kickyourbosstothecurbtoday.com. Take a look at what you're going to get in the 2014 Entrepreneur Kickstarter Business Mastery Circle. And in addition to that 7-webinar series, you're going to get the hour-long CD, The Art of Negotiation, where I tear apart negotiation and I put it back together again, and I show you how to think outside the box and what to do with all that anxiety you feel and how to get what you want from anyone. And I'll give you a hint. Win-win. And then we are going to work together in that community. It's going to be in a private Facebook group where we're going to support each other and post videos and pictures, and we're going to help each other get into revenue mode in 2014. Wow, that's a lot. So go to www.kickyourbosstothecurbtoday.com and take a look at the 2014 Entrepreneur Kickstarter Business Mastery Circle. We're getting started this week, so I just can't wait to get started working with you. Liz Brazier, I want to thank you again for being my very special guest today. Do you have any final words of wisdom for folks at home on productivity and accountability?
Sure, absolutely. I could talk about forever, but one thing is definitely tied up with that accountability. So it's great. Write your goals down. You've 39% chance you'll get it done, but if you tell someone, that increases to 76%. So don't be scared. Tell someone, whether in this private Facebook group that Sean's mentioning, really put it out there, and then you'll achieve seriously extraordinary results.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Liz Brazier. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Your Business Accelerated. And I want to thank you, the viewers at home, for joining me as well. I can't wait to bring yet another exciting guest to you next week on Your Business Accelerated. And until we meet again, I am your hostess with the mostest, attorney Sean B. Arnold, reminding you as always to maximize your competence to get the confidence you need to succeed. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, friends.